Hello, welcome back to the ministry. This is Taj McCameron, and today we are here because the Lord showed me when I was listening to the radio last night that a song by Jagged Edge, and I knew it was a Jagged Edge song. When I heard the instrumental for it, I was like, this is Jagged Edge, but I don't know what this song is. And when it started to play and I listened to it, I was like, oh my God, this is a Kick the Bird song. I gotta do this one. So I feel it kind of falls right in alignment with the last word I gave you, which was the special package delivery. A lot of your God-ordained spouses are at the edge. Every person's spouse is at a different point, but they're at their edge. They're either coming out of the situation that they were in, they've been out and are in their healing process, or they're in preparatory situation to come to you. So either way, they coming to you. It's just some are in different stages. Some it will be quicker, some it will be longer. You got to seek God for that. But if you're not right, understand that God's not going to send you a completed person or somebody that's going to need your help, and you haven't yet reached the point in which you need to be in order for you to be a helper to them, even if they just need your emotional support in this season. If you haven't gotten to the point that you can handle the weight of supporting them emotionally, please do a reevaluation of self, check in with self, reassess, and understand your position, understand where you are, and think about it. Is God going to drop a brand new man? And he may not be completely brand new. He may still be dealing with some things at your doorstep, and you haven't done anything. Let me help you understand. I'm going to read these lyrics about where some of these men's heads are. Okay. They've come to the realization that in this walk that they've been in, they've been a little bit messed up. You can look at this song in two ways. From them having walked away from God, which thereby line them up, especially for those that you were looking to reconnect with somebody that you were with before, and walking away from you. That is if they're meant to come back to you. Some are not. You need to know whether God was telling you that. Some of y'all won't even raise that person's name to the Lord because you too afraid that he gonna be like, sorry, no. And it's like, you got to, because you can sit there and pray on a person that ain't your husband for years. And God's gonna sit there and say, I will wait until you stop, because I was looking at a movie this morning. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna put this in this video. I was looking at a movie this morning, and this woman wanted this man so bad. It was an old Western my dad was watching. And he told that woman, I'm sorry, I don't want you. She said, but you gotta understand though, that it's gonna be time, but you're gonna eventually come to me. He said, no, I'm not. I'm going to her. Hear me with your spiritual ears. God's like, no, I'm not. I'm going back. I'm going to the woman that I'm supposed to be with. And she's like, that's all right. I'm gonna wait. See, you gonna figure it out that it was me all along. And the guy was saying, nah, I know who she is. I know that this is the person that I'm supposed to be with. She said, it's all right. You gonna figure it out. Some of these counterfeit women have been in such a level of denial when these men have told them what God showed them. Because they didn't know no better. Either that or they went and used witchcraft to figure it out. And they literally are sitting there, it's all right, you gonna figure it out, because they're working witchcraft on them, trying to I heard Stephanie P say that they were doing spells on these men's drawers. I said, oh my God. I had to go to God and I was like, this is the stupidity that we talking about. What are we fighting against? For real. Warning for men. Don't accept gifts. Because some of these women probably going to give a party and gift that's got witchcraft on it. They're trying anything. They're doing food. They're doing whatever they can. If they can't have you, they're going to try to do darn near anything to keep you. Anything. Let's call you gotta go to God and pray to the Lord for their protection at this point in time. Because they're getting hit with mental warfare. And I'm going to mention this here. The Lord, I've had a pain in the back of my head all morning. Now, I got a head wrap on. Now, one might say, well, you got a head wrap on. Well, you would have that pain if you... Okay. If I was going to get a pain in my head from this head wrap, it would be back here where it's tightest, which is right here. Why am I getting a pain up here? You gotta realize that people operating in witchcraft will shoot webs. You have seen voodoo and hoodoo, right? When they take a voodoo doll and they stick it in a person, a doll that they have as a representative of the person, and they stick the pin in maybe their head, their throat. They will have you try to stop you from talking. Your hands. I've been feeling pricks in my hands lately. I'm like, that's all right. I'm going to go back into the spirit room. That's all right. But I'm telling you as a warning, they doing just about anything right by now. They petty. They really are. But that's all right. Elroy sees all things. God knows all things. Good, honest conversation with the Lord. You never know what kind of outcomes that the Lord will bring in relation to that stuff. When you serve God, it says in the word off the top, touch not my anointed. I don't have to be a prophet just because I'm anointed. God says, don't touch me. So I can go before the courts of heaven and have an honest confrontation. Know that. Now, I didn't mean to sit here for the past 8 minutes getting through that, but I felt somebody needed to hear that. Some of you that have been going through witchcraft, and if there's anybody present, understand it. For if God be God, you worship him. But for if Baal be God, you worship him. Let's see how that works out for you. So, getting into the lyrics, if you manage to make it past that whole segment, here comes the good part. Okay, the lyrics. So, lyrics. Let's begin. I'm rolling down a lonely highway asking God to please forgive me for messing up. Some of these men, if you were connected to them before, realize what they did in the relationship they were with you with, they messed up. Some of them of realizing that they messed up on their relationship specifically with God. And some of them realize they messed up in picking who they chose to be with prior to you. That was their mess up. Because the counterfeit is an identical imitation of who you are, but usually they come in as a placeholder to stand in the way, to block, to do witchcraft, do whatever they doing. But see, some of them, depending on what level of range they are, it could be deranged, to be honest with you. Whatever level they're on, some of them are just going to be a placeholder, much like the woman in the movie, The Perfect Match, where she held place and she did certain things so that guy would be willing to open up to her, but she ain't never want him. That's a placeholder. Secondary placeholder is one that actually is convinced that she's in love with this person. And it's not to say that she didn't have love for him, but the level of infatuation that came out of that relationship became unhealthy because he no longer wanted her, because he learned the lesson of the relationship and desired to move on because it was coming to the end of her placement. Then you got that other person, I ain't gonna let go no matter what you say. Some of them actually believe they are the one that's ordained to be there, though they're performing witchcraft activities, candle work, going to psychics, getting readings done, doing things that aren't of God, using Ouija boards, asking secret 8 balls questions. I remember in a movie years ago I watched What Lies Beneath. The woman and her friend kept doing Ouija boards. I was like, they're doing all these kinds of things and they think, well, I'm walking with God. You go to church on Sunday, that doesn't mean you're walking with God. Are you giving your life over to God? Are you acting like a child of God? Are you not cursing somebody? Are you not paying people to curse people? Are you not trying to keep the man? Oh, would you look at that? That pain stopped. What are you doing? What activities are you trying to do? Are they godly activities? You going to church? You reading the word and not a spell book? You reading the Bible? Are you praying for the will of God over this person's life? Or are you praying for your own will across this person's life? Or the spirit of Baal's will across this person's life? Or you sacrificing things to make sure that you can keep this relationship? Because when children of God sacrifice things, they actually sacrifice money to the church to pray and actually give it to the Lord on the altar. But some of y'all got sanctuaries in your house that are altars to these men. You got their hair and all this kind of stuff on it. But you go to church on a Sunday, so that makes your brain think that you're actually serving God. You're serving a God. You ain't serving the God of church. Read a wonderful book called Covenants and Curses. All that stuff was in there. And the guy talked about the fact that these people literally were going to church every Sunday religiously. Because that's what it was, religion. And we'll go right back home and sacrifice stuff and do blood rituals. Is that you? Evaluate. And then ask, is that a godly principle or is that witchcraft? Are you praying on the person or praying for the person? And if blood has anything to do with it, you may want to think about what God you're serving. Think about it. So, getting back to these words. Let's see. They messed up. The blessing he gave me, I see. They see the blessing in the person that the Lord showed them is their person. And let me pause here. Thank you, Bold for Christ. I'm going to tell this story that Bold for Christ told because I think y'all need to have a full understanding how God works. I can't take credit for this story. I'm saying Bold for Christ told it. She said in this video that she was having a conversation with a man. And the man told her that when he gave it to God, God told him he had two wonderful options. And they're good options. He could choose that direction. But the Lord also told him that both of them were going to die at 35 if. And he didn't even say if, but they were both going to die at 35 years old. And then he told them who he was supposed to marry. When God has a direction he needs for you to go in. I remember I was watching a movie the other night and it literally was talking about, this is going to take a minute for us to get through this song. Because God keep bringing revelation to me. In it was Ghost Rider. But what happened was the devil came to this man and told him, I will save this person that means so much to you. Tomorrow morning, their health will be 100%. I will save this person and you'll get exactly what you want. And the guy said, okay, I'll get rid of this, and this. If you're going to save this person's life for me. He did it. The next morning, the person got up and they were in perfect health. It was like they had never been sick. The second they got to work that day, that they had a tragic accident and died the same day. Why did I say that? In that story, that man was given the option of two different women. He wanted to choose either one of them. The Lord told him, yeah, but they're going to die at this age. This man turned around and married the person that the Lord told him to marry. They're married to this day, and both them women dead. Go in the direction God told you go. Go in the direction God told you go. Because see, the way the devil works is he would let you marry the person that's going to die at 35 and you think that you're going to start a life with them and then they die and then you're out of position because the person that you were supposed to be with, they done moved on. Because you made a choice. So, with that being said, without my girl, everything's clearer now. The nights as black it has been. It has ever been. Without my girl, I'ma lose it. And I'm praying that he just sheds his grace on me. I need. Some of these men have gone to God because they realize they screwed up in these counterfeit relationships, because the counterfeits are acting up or have acted up, and they have come to a point that they've come to themselves and come to the realization, why do I keep choosing these same wrong people? I keep choosing the same wrong person. They keep acting up like this. How is it that this keeps happening every single time? Why in the world is this happening? I need to figure out when the world is wrong. Lord, help me. They had to take it before the Lord, and the Lord began to tell them, just like that man, when he took those two women before the Lord, he said, I got somebody all ready for you, but neither one of them is it. So, with that being said, they realized that they were coming to a place that they felt they were losing their minds because of the way these women were acting towards them. And they were trying to figure out, why is it that these women keep acting this way towards me? And I'm trying to just do everything that I'm supposed to do. But at a particular point, everybody goes off at a specific manner. And I don't understand why. Now, for some of them, there are people around them praying their demise of their relationship. I mean, close, intimate people that have access and can see it, praying their demise to their relationship, to be honest. Doing whatever impossibility that they can do to take them down. But, or try to keep them into something that wasn't supposed to be. But when God breaks it up, they come to themselves and realize, it's dark over here. It's too dark over here. I don't be in this darkness no more. This is getting worse. God, I need your help. It feels like I just walked right out of heaven. Some of them have come to the realization that, one, they weren't walking with God in that relationship in the first place. And they realized they walked out of the covering of the Lord. Now catch this. It feels like they darn near threw their life away. They realized just how close they got to tying themselves up with somebody that was going to leave them with a life sentence. Remember, I did a review of a song, and it's in my community post. It's called something about a gal or something like that. In it is a verse that literally goes something about marrying a gal. That if you marry the wrong one, it's like signing yourself up for a life sentence. I was listening to Family Feud last night, and the woman was saying, she said that she'd been in a relationship for 50 years and 13 days. He said, that sounds like a life sentence. That's prison terms. These men don't want prison terms with women. They came to the point of understanding, I darn near threw my life away. I was about to be in a life sentence of misery. Because when the person showed themselves for who they were able to see, oh, this wasn't a good idea. I gotta get out of this. This ain't gonna work. Not at all. And they realized they were that close to marrying this person. They wanted to, but they came to the realization when this person started acting like Satan incarnate. Because some of them did. Because God had to show them this is what's going to happen if you marry this. And it's like, it went from day to night. It went from good to bad. It went from, and I was like, wait, what? And they literally like scratching their head. What? How did you? God showed them who they were. Ever hear a person and a person shows you who they are, believe them? Some people will sit in a level of facade to try to hold you up for the longest period of time, but God will bring a level of circumstance to a person that will press them all the way into a corner that when they get into these certain circumstances, they can no longer keep the facade up. And that's when they get to see who they really are. And in that moment, they say, I darn near threw my life away. Oh my God. I'm scared, just like a child that's lost at 7. Some of these men went through a traumatic incident when they were children, okay? And as that child, they got arrested in development. That every relationship, every situation, and every scenario, though they didn't realize it, brings them back to that moment. It's an either emotional recollection, spiritual file remembrance, or it's you know how they say that when a person goes through trauma, what they see, their smells, their tastes, all those kinds of things. Certain traumatic incidents leave certain residue. And because of these types of residue, anything that gets close to that space is going to make them back up in fear. Anything. You ever been through a traumatic incident and every time you hear something, it reminds you back of the jump scare? Go back to my word that I said, jump scare. It gives you the jump scare. And if you've been through a traumatic incident, you don't even want to look back. It's like, like reminds me of something I've been through. I ain't going there. Those little traumas throughout time, all the way up through their adulthood. I talked about this in my podcast. I said something about the ACER formula. Go look it up. It's a formula that literally talks about the scale of trauma to different degrees and each of these scales of trauma. And because of that, these men went through something that they have compartmentalized all the way in the back of their mind that was lost from their childhood, whatever age that was. But it had to have been done in their formative years in order to leave a mark to try to mar them and mess them up all the way up to their adulthood. And now God said, got you right there. I need you to give me that. We're going to go back to that moment in time so I can show you this is how you ended up in all of this mess. All the relationship, friendships, all this stuff. This is how you ended up with all these betrayers, all these people that disrespect you, all these people. What was that thing? What's the little thing? I need you to give me that. Because then once I get that, I can remove all this. But understand, I'm going to snatch all of it. I'm going to move all of it out. Meaning every person that you created an association with that I didn't put there because they have a hole in them that literally the second you get close to something, everything in these people seems to try to circle in around you to choke you out because they got the wrong spirits on them. That right there. I need to get the thing out in you that's causing that to happen every single time. That's what I need. That's what I want. Give me that. Because they'll stop trying to choke you out every time. And then you'll be able to see clear enough that when I say open this door, you'll jump. You'll jump right through it. The embargo is no longer there. The blockade that these people that will come in and surround you, that were using these fear and jump tactics in order to prevent you from moving. Yeah, I need the root of that. Give me that. When I get that, then I can help you. Okay? But I need that. So, what time we got here? I got a couple more minutes because we're going to do a part 2 because I ain't done with this song. Have you not noticed how deep this is? Next. Don't know what to do to get back right with you. Some of these men, whether they met you or knew you before, they haven't figured out a way to get it right, to come back, to do the apology. Remember the word I gave previously? I talked about the fact that they nervous because they don't know how to approach you, but they coming. Because they either have to apologize and confess for what they did, but it's the duality of it. They got to. And for some, they ain't even met you yet and they realize they done did you wrong. Because the connection y'all had spiritually, they know that you know. And because they know that you know all of it, because they know that God told you certain things, they know they got to come back and confess. Because they know that you're aware of stuff. You may not know details, but whatever it is that God showed you, they know they got to explain themselves for that. So they gonna confess because the Lord's been in their head. And so have you. Some of you have such a level of spiritual connection that when you are in your dreams, when you see them, that's them. For real. That's for real. That's them. Meaning they are as clear to you in your dreams as if you were sitting across from them. That's them. So they know because they've spiritually been connected to you to that capacity. Oh yeah, I gotta explain myself. So I'm gonna come back because I'm pretty much at the end of this one and finish this up.